Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Hop, Skipping, and Dream Travel. Today we're going to be having episode number 2. And we're going to be talking about what it is that you need to let your travel advisor or travel agent, preferably myself, but whoever you have, what you need to let them know so they can book you the best travel experience they can possible. So let's hit that intro. Hello, everybody, and like I said, it is episode number 2 of the Hop, Skip, and Dream Travel Podcast. We are both on video form on YouTube, Hop, Skip, and Dream, or we are on audio through Anchor FM, Spotify, and most of the major platforms, I think with the exception of Apple. I'll have to check that out. So, as we are talking about travel, and with travel season starting to come back with COVID restrictions being lifted, let's talk about what it is that I, as a travel agent, need to know so I can book you the best vacation possible. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to need to know your name. So with that, it'll be more of, hey, how are you? How did you find out about my company? Obviously, what is your name so I can call you by your name? Your preferred title, if you have one, or preferred pronouns, and also how it is that we need to fill out your information. Secondly, we will want to make sure that we understand what your interests are. We need to know that, are you a fan of cruising? If so, do you have preferred cruise lines? Are you opposed to a more family-friendly cruise line like Disney? Or are you absolutely against Disney? Those types of things matter, because I don't want to suggest to you to go on a Disney cruise line if you absolutely hate them or you have some sort of judgment against them that you don't want to give them money, basically. And that's not to say that anybody does have that opinion, but there are people who just do not like certain companies. And that's a simple, plain truth of life. So with that, let's take a look at what it is that is the additional information that I need and the focus of this, the 5 Ds of travel. The 5 Ds are the dates, the duration, destination, desires, and dollars. Some of those are pretty self-explanatory, but we're still going to go over them all in some form of detail so we can kind of be on the same page. So John Doe comes in with his wife Jane Doe, and they want to go on a vacation. I'm going to talk to them, find out what it is they want to do. And let's say they want to go to an all-inclusive resort in the Caribbean coast of Mexico. There are several of these locations, but how do I know how to narrow it down for them? Well, I go through my 5 Ds. When do they want to travel? Like, specifically what dates? Can they go only certain dates in a month that they want to go, or can they go the whole month? So like I could plan, say, a Wednesday leaving and a return on Tuesday, so that way they can benefit in the airfare. Or is it one of those where they can only leave on a Friday and they have to be back on a Monday? They can take a week off in between, but they have to be back by that following Monday so they can go to work. So that would mean Friday through a Sunday. I need to know those types of things. And that's where the duration comes in as well. Are you wanting to go for a weekend, or you want to go for a whole week? Can you leave instead of on a Friday? Do you want to leave on a Sunday and come back on a Saturday or the following Sunday? All of that information helps me figure out how to best price your your package within the dates and frame and dates and durations. Next is importantly the destination. You want to go to the Mexican Caribbean coast. You want to go to an RIU, sandals, beaches, is it adults only all-inclusive? Is it a family all-inclusive? What other, activities in that area do you want to do? Because that leads into the next one, which is desires. What do you want from this vacation? Do you want as much stress-free as possible? Do you want as much control over what you're doing? Do you want me to, plan some activities that I think you'll like based on our questionnaires? And our questions and talking and conversations. And then lastly is the dollars, the budget. How much are you willing to spend? Because that's obviously going to factor in, if I book you for a whole week, how many excursions do you want to do? How much do you want to spend on it? And that's where a lot of people kind of miss the mark on what they're wanting to do. For example, I went on a Disney cruise in 2015. I wanted to do a lot of excursions. However, almost all the excursions for the ship, whether it was partnered through the Disney plan or I wanted to pay for it myself, costs a lot of money. Those are unfortunately things that you have to pay for, and you have to be able to budget those out. And if you can't, then you can't go on them. But with that said, that doesn't mean that you can't still have a fun time by doing things that are local. We went walking around the ports that we visited, and we went like Skagway. I walked up the main thoroughfare around as you're walking from the ship. I took a left and came back down the next main artery. There was an IGA store, a little grocery store. Popped in, picked up some snacks and stuff that I couldn't get on the ship. Brought them back aboard, no big deal. Stopped in a few convenient locations. My wife, mother-in-law, and a family friend stopped in a jewelry store. We all did our own thing. There was a group of 9 of us, and we all kind of went our own ways and did our own things. But we all met back for lunch and stuff on the ship. The same thing in Juneau. Same thing in Ketchikan. The only difference was in Ketchikan, we went on and did the, what was that one? The Lumberjack Show. Another trip that I took just shortly after that was October 2016. We went to Hawaii. Stayed at a really beautiful resort, the Outrigger Reef, Waikiki. And, for the first, almost week that we were there, the first half, we had my mother-in-law, my wife, sister-in-law, and a family friend, and myself, obviously. We had to get 2 rooms, but unbeknownst to my travel agent at the time, we had to pick up a second room because the sister-in-law was a surprise. And a vlog will be coming out on all that soon. We'll see how soon. I'm busy working on the Disney cruise. Long story short, we are going to be basically knowing what it is that we want to do on those vacations helps us determine where to put you. So like for my Hawaii cruise, our Hawaii destination, we wanted to do a bunch of tours and a luau, and also my wife, mother-in-law, and myself got tattoos. We managed to pick a tattoo parlor and then pick the hotel that we wanted to stay on Waikiki that's close enough to it. And it was all really, really good. It was a wonderful vacation. With that said, we didn't break the bank. We stayed within our budget and we had a wonderful time. Same thing with the Disney Cruise Line. Even though we didn't do much in the way of port adventures that you'll see people going on all these wonderful things, like even if you look at the time frame of my Disney cruise, you would know that we didn't do hardly anything compared to some of the other families. And that's okay. Not everybody needs to do those types of things. And heck, if you just want to take a weekend visit down to Orlando Studios Universal Studios in Orlando or Universal Hollywood, there's nothing wrong with that. A travel agent is great at doing that, and we can relieve a lot of the stress that comes with that type of thing. You're having to worry about, is my confirmation for my plane correct? Is my rental car available? Do I have a shuttle instead? when you think of Disney World, and unfortunately this is going away at the end of the year, it used to be that you fly into Orlando and you're staying at the Disney Resort, you get on the Magical Express, a free shuttle to the park and resort, you know. Now you're gonna have to think about a rental car or booking a separate shuttle at a cost, you know. So when it comes to that, these are what these 5D questions are for. They are meant for you, the guest, the client, whatever you want to call yourself, is meant for you to let us know what your expectations are, what you can and can't do. And for us, that gives us, okay, where do we need to look at this? You know, I keep going back to Disney because it's one of the more notable brands. But if you're going to Disney World, I'm not going to put you up in Bay Lake Towers, which is a DVC club, when you can only afford to stay at Art of Animation or Pop Century or below, you know, a value resort or a moderate resort. That's not fair to you, and it's sure as heck not fair to Disney or myself. Because that leaves a bad impression on your part, and it would leave a bad taste in my mouth. So, just remember, when you go to speak to a travel agent and you've made that rapport with them, that you want to book with them your travel, you need to make sure that they know that your 5Ds, your dates, your duration, your destination, your desires, and your dollars, your budget. Because without that information, I can't help you. If you're very wishy-washy on that, it's going to make it hard for me to find something that's going to fit in your budget. If you're wishy-washy with the dates you can leave or how long you want it to be, you know, because you might want to go for 2 weeks, but you can only afford, you know, 4 nights. That type of thing. We have to figure that type of stuff out. So, with that, I'm going to try and keep these pretty short and simple, but there will be bigger videos come along that might not be included in the weekly podcasts. Obviously, vlogs are going to be separate, but I just want to try and get the podcast going as well as keeping a video for it, just so that way if you guys prefer the video aspect of it, you have it available. And with that, just remember, hop, skip, and dream travel, memories begin here. Have a great weekend. Peace.